So we got a comment yesterday on the channel which was basically asking why is there so much graffiti in Belgrade, and the second part of the comment was, is there gang activity? And we'll get into that, but this is an example of the graffiti here in Belgrade. Fuck everybody. And I think that that could be a nice description of the general mentality of the people who are doing this. So here in Belgrade, as you know, it's not the richest country and the most prosperous society. So I always feel like sometimes the graffiti here is a way that young people sort of lash out at the lack of, expression that they feel that they have in the society and the way things are, the lack of an ability to make a career and prosper, and the lack of care. The utter lack of care of maintaining buildings in public spaces that seems to be prevalent among a lot of the population. So this one right here, I like it. It says hope. So since I have a song from my band Eric and the Worldly Savages called Hope, a lot of people, it started showing up at the same time as the song. So a lot of people actually thought that this was me doing this, but it wasn't me. It was someone else who was inspired by a message of hope to the point that they wanted to scribble it in public places. So what seems to be notable about the whole thing is it's not just like okay, so there are football sort of hooligan type people who like to do lots of graffiti, whether they're supporting Partizan, Red Star, you see lots of that. But it seems to be not just like those types of people, but also sort of more left-wing type people who want you to go vegan will also do their graffiti around the city, go vegan, and then somebody put a swastika over it, like whatever. Like there's just all sorts of interaction here in Belgrade in terms of graffiti and what people do. And I really wish it wasn't so much of a thing, because it does make the city look a little bit more run down, let's face it. And you do question, why do these people care so little about the city and stuff like that? I would say that Serbian family values are very strong, right? And that in the family, most of these people who are doing graffiti are probably very nice people, and that they're not actually trying to destroy anything. They're just making some sort of statement about society, and the society doesn't really respond with anything, so they keep on doing it, because people don't care. I mean, so there just keeps on being graffiti everywhere. And it makes it look like, yeah, this should be some sort of fuck everybody sort of dangerous place. But Belgrade's actually very safe. It's actually very safe and very sort of nice as a civil society, as a place to live. But yet almost every building has these scribbles all over it. So why? Yeah. Why? You ask yourself. And this stuff on this street is pretty bad, but there's also some very beautiful graffiti that actually starts counting as street art. And so the street art in this city is amazing. So to sum it up, I don't really have a lot of respect for the people who do this sort of tagging and stuff like that, and people don't have that much respect for the buildings that they would actually take it off. So it just continues to happen, and there's pretty much graffiti on every building, and you just kind of get used to it living in Belgrade. So I'm gonna take a walk. I don't know, I've never met somebody who told me that they do graffiti. A few people who did street art, and yeah, whatever. And there's also some street art that you see in neighborhoods which are actually monuments to people who have lived there or grown up there, like in Banjica, like Novak Djokovic, the famous tennis player. He's got some sort of street arts sort of stuff monument in the building where he grew up or something like that I was seeing on something I was watching on YouTube. So yeah, it's an interesting topic, and I'm gonna see if I can find you guys some graffiti that I think is actually a nice artistic contribution to the neighborhoods around here. So yeah, let's see what we can find. See, this is the sort of stuff that actually makes Belgrade look like the artistic sort of bohemian-like city that it kind of has a reputation of being around Europe and around the world. This type of graffiti has some artistic merit. The people actually take pride in what they're building here when they're doing this public street art. So this is more, yeah, it's like you can really separate this type of thing from people just scribbling stupid political messages and stuff on the walls. So yeah, there is that. So this building here seems to be a mix of both styles, that there's some people who just want to scribble dumb stuff on this wall and some people who actually wanted to make some sort of art here. And yeah, there's like, how many times I have to die for your sins, I'm getting tired, Jesus thing. It's like hard to tell if this is a, sincere Christian believer message or some sort of ironic sort of hipster Jesus message. I'm not sure. Okay, so this seems to be an example of a veterinarian that has hired a street artist to sort of do the front of their shop here. So that's kind of interesting, nice idea, but then some idiot has gone and scribbled something over this lovely artwork. So yeah, it's nice to see local businesses supporting the look of street art and hiring local artists, I guess. And it's a shame that idiots like this come and deface it. Alright, so this is a guy apparently who died in October of 2007, and something that was erected in his honor. So yeah, basically it's in English. Loved by few, hated by many, respected by all. I mean, you can only assume what this guy was into. And the fact that he died on his birthday, that's interesting. I mean, so I have no idea who this guy was, but obviously this has been here for a long time. He could be some sort of, local person who died, and really hard to tell, but it's interesting that this has been here. This has been here for years. A monument to a local person. I don't know. Does anyone know the story of this? Write in the comments below. Who is this guy? We don't know. And interesting that it's in English too. Alright, so here's an example of a high school, I believe, that has kind of decided to embrace street art on their premises. So they've gone to do a elaborate sort of presentation of street art, with a nice message, welcome to Belgrade, and all this sort of stuff. And I guess they're basically saying like, well, if you want to do artistic things on walls, that's good, but don't do stupid things. But then you see that it's scribbled over by a bunch of people with a bunch of random messages. So I don't know what the relationship with the school's role in backing this, approving all of this or anything, and how it came to be like this, but it's very beautiful to see this sort of vibrant display on the street, especially the message, welcome to Belgrade. It's nice. And then you have something about stopping human trafficking of children and stuff like that, which is also a good message to have as part of the street art. And yeah, interesting, right? Nice little piece of art here. Don't know what it means, but it's beautiful. It's nice to have this sort of thing on the streets. Really nice, actually. So yeah, very colorful. And in some places it's actually posters that are put on the wall, so it's a little less permanent, less damaging, maybe even less expensive to do. Dance Me to the End of Love. It's interesting to note that a lot of the graffiti is in English. There you have the word heroes written, and it seems to be all around the neighborhood, so I don't really know why it says heroes everywhere. See, as just a foreigner who lives here, I don't know the stories of all of this type of graffiti that you see everywhere. So if somebody watching this does and wants to take me of a tour of Dorchel and explain to me what all this graffiti means, that would be really good, because this sort of video was just for the purpose of exploring the question, why is there so much graffiti in Belgrade? Because someone saw in my videos that there was. And is there gang activity? So yeah, there is, a certain case that you will see basically Partizan or Red Star, the two football clubs, claim certain apartment blocks and so on and so forth, and you could call them hooligans, gangs, whatever. They do fight. but it doesn't really affect my life. And I think a lot of the people doing a lot of this graffiti are, teenagers. And, I'm not that in touch with teenagers here, being a guy in his 30s. Nor am I in touch with organized crime here. So if someone knows more about it, wants to talk about it, come on, let's do it. Contact me, and we'll do another episode follow-up about that. How does that sound? Look, but please don't touch. So this seems to be something recent with some sort of statement about the summer of 2020, where you're supposed to look, but please don't touch. I guess it's a reference to coronavirus and, the new normal of social distancing and all that stuff. So it's interesting. And again, in English. Seems that the youth here really want English to be their language of artistic expression because they're trying to be more international minded, or they just think it sounds cool. So, yeah. But basically everywhere you look in Belgrade, there's some interesting or really boring looking graffiti. And there it is again, heroes. Anybody know why they're writing heroes around the neighborhood? This is Lower Deutschel, by the way. Alright folks, so this is Deutschel street art at its finest. I've actually used one piece over here, which I'll show you in one of my music videos, but it just seems like this more artistic sort of street art is just really awesome. I don't know if the people gave permission for this. Yeah, so this is the one I used in my music video, which was called UK 21st Century Racism by my band Eric and the Worldly Savages. Great for a music video. And it just really looks like an artistic place, this Belgrade. When it's not just, it's not just a mess of different tags and stuff like that. So the good, the bad, and the ugly of Serbian street art. Now, making this video today has really made me realize that I want to know more about Belgrade street art. So if anybody knows a lot about it and what all the murals in the neighborhood mean, what all the sort of like hooligan tags mean and all that stuff, and wants to explain a little more, take me around the neighborhood, please just let me know. Because I'm sure that I haven't gotten the complete story about all of this, and just as a foreigner, living here in this city and not being in touch with certain segments of the society, like the football hooligans, thank God I'm not, it's hard to really tell what the whole thing is and what motivates young people to do graffiti. So do you know anybody who does graffiti, street art and stuff like that? What are their motivations? Is it vanity? Is it politics? Is it, self-expression? There must be lots of different reasons why people do this, and to be honest, I'd like to learn more. So yeah, Belgrade 2020, wonderful place to walk around. Yes, the graffiti makes it look like a dangerous place, which the city really is not. Look at the statistics compared to other places like the USA, which is really really dangerous. I got that corona. Just joking, I don't have corona. Anyways, so Belgrade is a safe place to live, but there's underlying social, I wouldn't call it unrest, but cynicism towards society, and I see that a lot of the graffiti seems to be a manifestation of that. So write in the comments below, what do you think? Why is there so much graffiti in Belgrade? What types of people do it, and why do they do it? And if anybody can hook me up with someone who can tell me a little bit more about the graffiti around the neighborhood of Dorchel. Thanks a lot. Catch you guys later. Bye now.